Welcome to Devil's Advocate with Rosebud Baker, everybody. I am Rosebud Baker. That is my name. This is an interesting episode because we will be dropping this later on, but it is the first episode that I'm recording. So I'm excited. I'm nervous. You could probably hear it in my voice. I feel filled with hope. That's the word. I'm very excited too because my guest is someone who is very important to me, who's very hilarious, is one of my favorite comics and people, and not just because I happen to be banging him. Andy Haynes, everybody. Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being the only one who said yes so far.
Oh, wow. It is an honor. It's such an honor to be here and to be the only one available. And also I also drove you to the podcast.
Yes. Thanks for also being my ride.
I need a ride. Who can I ask to be on the podcast?
But it's true that you are one of my favorite comics. You know that.
I know. Yeah. You're very sweet. Off air.
Yeah. Off air, I am.
Yeah, I mean, you generally don't show this side of yourself.
Right.
You don't let people know.
Nobody wants to see that.
A soft underbelly.
Nobody wants that.
They want tough.
In fact, I wasn't even aware that you would say that.
I apologize.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We're just going to fight the whole podcast, guys. That's pretty much, I brought him on here to fight with him.
Good.
And
I've been looking forward to a spar.
You went through my phone last night. How's that?
You don't have to bring that up.
Let's go into it.
It's the only time I've ever done it. You did it too.
Andy went through my phone and then immediately told me about it, which is exactly what happened when I went through yours.
Yeah, that's why I felt like I had a gimme.
Yeah, it's fair.
You also know the code to my phone.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, mine was just open.
You were watching You.
I was, which is not the best show, but I can't stop watching it.
Yeah, I mean, it's great falling asleep TV.
I love the idea of a stalker lover.
Yeah.
I wish that you were more of a serial killer.
Well, a lot of people would argue with you that I'm quite a serial killer, my vibe at least. But
there is you do have the emptiness behind your eyes.
There's a lot of trauma. It seems like I was. It really seems like I was in a place where a lot of people got shot and I just hid behind a barrel or something like that when I was a child. I kind of have that vibe. That
sort of shaken.
Survived a massacre between ethnic clans.
Right, and learned how to put your emotions in a box.
Yeah.
Far, far away.
And now I just work in an antique store, but there's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every so often somebody walks into that antique store and you let your trauma out on them.
Yeah. And it's like a chisel kind of to the neck thing.
Yeah.
That is hot.
And then those people live underneath the store.
Do you have
That's
fantasies?
my fantasy about you.
Do you have fantasies about killing people?
No, not really.
I love I'll have vengeance fantasies, where somebody will be a dick to somebody or rude to you maybe.
Yeah.
And then I'll in my head I'll be thinking about kicking their ass and then I'll realize that my fists are clenched, I'm
ready to go
it physically. Yeah.
Who specifically? You don't have to name names, but I'm saying when was the last time that this happened and what was the fantasy specifically for you?
There was something recently where a dude was rude to you, I feel like on the street or something.
That's
and
possible.
You were telling me about it in New York. Mm-hmm. And then I was just thinking, I didn't know what he looked like, but I was I wish I was there because I would have just picked up some recycling. Mm-hmm. I showed you the clip from He Got Game where Denzel Washington punches the guy in the throat. Yeah. I can't wait for the opportunity to do that.
Right. I love that you incorporated recycling into it.
Well, it's a glass bottle.
Listen, that is recycling.
Yes.
You are recycling actively. You are using the bottle for something else.
I love to recycle. I love repurposing.
You do.
And that's actually probably one of our only real disagreements.
Yeah, no, it is. It's our number one. Well, here's the thing. I don't disagree with recycling.
Yes.
That would be stupid.
Yeah.
I just don't do it.
Yeah, you don't do it. You throw everything in one bin.
Because don't they separate it?
No.
In New York, they separate it.
They don't. What they do is that there's a nice...
You told me that they did.
They separate the recycling.
Yeah. So you put it in a...
They don't separate the garbage.
From the recycling. Oh, see, I thought they did. But
here's the thing. There is a nice thing that's happened because our world is falling apart. There's a whole subclass of urchin people that come at night, like those elves that made boots out of leather.
Right.
And they separate the recycling.
The magical recycling elves.
Yeah. Those people.
Yeah.
It's weird that it's like half drug addicts and half just Chinese grannies.
Yeah, I know. Who do you think's doing better? I think the grandmas.
The grandmas.
They always have.
You ever seen their carts where it's like, just like it looks like a feet? It looks like Vietnam or something where like somebody has like 6 oxen on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah, there's, I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, me and Andy live in New York full time. And so we're and I've lived there for 13 years now, and you've lived there for how many?
On and off, total 6, but on and off over the course of 10 years.
Do you consider yourself a New Yorker?
I don't know at this point.
You seem more like a West Coaster to me.
I think I like living in New York more, but my vibe is more LA.
Yeah. You definitely have like your vibe is Portland, let's be honest.
Okay, we can relax a little bit. Don't say Portland. I'm from Seattle.
I know, but your vibe is Portland.
It's more Portland than Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have gauges or anything, but you do have a Portland vibe, like a Portland dad.
Okay, I'll accept it. It's fine.
You're so upset.
I mean, I'm upset because you won't recycle.
Exactly.
I go through so many people's garbage and I separate the recycling. I'll wash out a container.
That's a fucking weird thing to do. Okay? Like the first week we were dating, you basically tried moving into my apartment.
Didn't tried, I did it.
Yeah, you moved into my apartment. You started separating recycling. There were piles of cardboard all over my apartment because Andy can't handle the fact that I would just throw them in the trash. And then he would leave and I would put I would put it all in the trash again because I don't want trash piles in my apartment.
Well, the recycling's clean.
It still looks like trash.
It looks like trash. But here, we'll say this, or I will tell you this. China has stopped... China, our president says it. China has stopped accepting our recycling because it's all so fucked up because of people like you who put it in the garbage. I bet you take plastic bottles, you tear the wrapper off, you stick them in the bottle.
Wait, why is our recycling being sent to China?
Because they have the capability to. It's all manufacturing's over there.
So they've stopped accepting it. So then what are we doing? Just making different piles on.
We're sending it to other
US
countries
soil?
that will do it, but most of it's just sticking around.
So then that's what I'm saying. Like, why? I want to know exactly why the recycling is going to save us. I'm not saying that it won't. I'm just saying why, how.
Okay, well, first of all.
It's like the world is burning.
Yeah.
Start organizing your trash. It just feels a little insane. It feels like a little bit of a strange, it's like praying for gun laws to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's not doing anything.
Okay, so first of all, the biggest thing that we need to recycle is plastics because plastics are renewable, they're reusable, and they're also to create new plastic, which is what happens when we don't recycle plastic. You have to use oil. It's a petroleum-based substance, and also the byproduct of the manufacturing of plastics is CO2, which then contributes to the global warming. On top of that, when we don't throw away right, it gets into the soil, gets into the waterways.
It hurts,
and it gets into the oceans.
Animals.
Yeah.
Okay, I can get behind that.
I mean, you don't even have to because I just do it for you now.
Right. That's why I can get behind it. But follow-up question.
Yeah.
Since you do recycle, do you feel like a better person?
No.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. It's like, that's the whole thing about it.
You're doing it and you're like, this doesn't matter.
To some extent, I just want to help. I want to like, because you know me, I love nature.
Yeah.
I love the little animals. Mm-hmm. And but
You do love the little animals.
I do love the little animals. But the main thing about it is that all these things, all the good people things that we do in the world, they don't matter because the assholes always win.
Yeah.
It's like from the base level to like where you're at a bar, you're the nice guy, the asshole's gonna win the girl, he's gonna be the coolest guy there, to all the way to the tip of corporate ladder, to the only person that cares is our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And so when I get to those pearly gates, he's gonna be like, you weren't actually that good of a person. So
basically you're saying that nothing matters. You recycle because you hope to get into heaven. The assholes win. I do agree with that. I feel like as someone who does not recycle, I can verify that I am a happier person than you.
Yes. Yeah. But it's also because you were molested. That's the main reason.
It's because I wasn't molested.
Yeah.
In a body cast.
Yes.
All right. What a segue. Guys.
Were you going to talk about that?
I was going to.
Oh, cool.
I love that you made such a hard left into it. Why don't we start here? How do you feel
about molestation?
About molestation as someone who survived it?
In the classical sense, molestation was just the passing of energy. That's how I feel about all sex crimes.
I'm pretty sure that's how sex criminals feel too. Like, it's just an energy exchange.
Yeah,
Can you imagine a spiritual sex criminal?
I think that's how all Bikram yoga molestations happen.
That's pretty much how the Catholic ones happen too.
Yeah, and also I talked about this the other night on stage. I got molested by a Catholic kid who probably been molested by a priest, so I have secondhand molestation from the Catholic Church.
Yeah, you were like a pass me down.
I don't actually think that my being molested was that big of a deal. It was like a young teen figuring out his own body, and he just happened to be babysitting a kid. I didn't get penetrated. There was no like sexual act.
Well, you couldn't because you were in a body cast.
No, actually, it would have been perfect.
There was a hole?
Yeah. You have to leave a hole. They don't just make you shit and piss in your body cast. I was in them for 2 months. Can you imagine? My parents just put a hose down my back.
Hold on. We have to go back. Wait a second. So first of all, people are probably wondering, why were you in a body cast in the first place?
I was running across the field when I was like...
I can't.
I was running across the field. I was 8 years old, and there was a game we used to play Smear the Queer. And this kid, David...
It was called Smear the Queer.
Yeah. And it was...
homophobic.
Whoever had the ball was the queer, and then everybody tried to tackle them.
Okay.
And then, so this kid, David Manning, was chasing me, and I already didn't like David Manning, but I slipped.
I don't like David Manning just based off of his name.
David Mammon either. And then my leg, you can't really see. Imagine like a lever. What would you call that? Like one of those?
Oh, like a windy up thing.
Yeah, my leg did that.
Oh, like the old school windows in a car, like the handle for.
Yes, my leg did that. If you used my knee as like the part that goes into the door,
ew,
it went, and then it just did a clean break, and then your leg recoils like when you break it like that, like all your muscles, they go. So my leg was like stuck to my ass because all the muscles were like tink. And
weird.
And then this Miss Halverson came over and she was like, "Get up, you're fine." And then I couldn't get up. And so then the ambulance came and then they found out I broke my femur, and then they had to put me in traction, which is they put a pin through the middle of my knee, weights on it, and I was in bed. You've seen that before where like somebody's like...
Yeah.
So I was like that, and I was in the hospital for like maybe 3 weeks. And then...
Wow.
My mom already worked at that hospital though, so it was kind of chill. Like I got special treatment, and this hot Ethiopian nurse would come and give me baths. It was great.
So you were getting all kinds of action.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? The hot Ethiopian nurse is giving me baths. Score. The babysitter just shows me his junk and touches mine, and now I have to go talk to the cops about it. That's bullshit. That's actually on me. I should have been a little bit more like open-minded, you know?
But you did talk to the cops.
I did.
And
I was on a family trip, and I was a hypochondriac. For some reason, after the leg break, I like became like super hypochondriac.
I can't imagine why. Your entire fucking body was in a cast. That would probably freak me out.
Yeah, I was just like afraid of like Windex. Like if Windex mist got on me, I was like, it's gonna be poison. But then they were like on the radio, they were talking about, because it was the AIDS crisis,
right?
And I was like, because I would like, my mind would be like, what's gonna get you today? And so in my mind, I was like, oh, the only time I've ever like I got AIDS probably because I saw that guy's dick.
Because I saw his dick.
I touched it. I had to like palm it, you know?
He told you to touch it.
Yeah, I think so. He also showed us his butthole, which wasn't, I was like.
What do you mean us?
It happened to me and a friend.
Oh.
Yeah, he was babysitting both of us. This is so dark. Are you sure you want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
He showed you his butthole.
Yeah.
And your friend.
Yeah.
And your friend was not in a body cast. Your friend was just.
My friend was just there for kinks.
Your friend was just a fucking.
We were just nasty. Like.
He's like, yeah. Wait, so you had a play date while you were in a body cast, and then
yeah, because I was in a body cast.
Yeah,
somebody had to come over occasionally,
right? And they were like, I had a weird play date with Andy.
Yeah, well, he didn't tell anybody, but then I told my family because I was like, oh, I got AIDS.
Because you saw a guy's dick.
Yeah, and they were like, you don't have AIDS, but you did. Something else happened. They're like, the AIDS, no, you're good, but you do need to talk to.
You are stupid, and also you were molested.
Yeah, you were molested.
And also, we just found out how dumb you are.
Yeah, and so then, you know, kind of ruined the family vacation a little bit.
That's kind of sweet, though, the way like an 8-year-old thinks, you know, like, because kids' brains are so just stupid.
Yeah.
You know, and like they think in weird abstract terms. So it's like if they're hearing on the radio like, oh, like you get AIDS from sexual contact, you're gonna be like, well, I saw a dick.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. So it makes sense that you would go to your parents after that and be like, I might have AIDS.
Yeah, and can you imagine what they were like? I've been shooting heroin. You're in a body cast. No, it was like I think it was probably like 5 months later. But I don't even think, because I think I was like conscious enough to understand that wasn't that big of a deal, that it was like illegal, but like
right.
That wasn't like, because if he was our age and we all did that, no problem. But he was like 5 years older than us.
Right.
So it was like a bad thing. Yeah. But the traumatic parts of it were like, I had to go sit in an interrogation room with police. Right. And they were like grilling me. Yeah. Because like, I think he denied it.
Yeah. So you were sitting there just going like, getting molested was easier than talking to you guys.
Yeah. Because it's like these cops and they're literally like, so like, are you telling us the truth? Because we got a different story. And I'm like, what the? I'm fucking 8. You think I'm framing his fucking also middle class family? Yeah. But anyways, my parents, you know, I don't think they press charges. I'll say, you know what, the most traumatic.
So nothing happened to this kid.
I think he had to get therapy or something like that. I saw him much later.
He's probably out there showing his butthole today.
Well, I'll tell you this. I was like 22 years old. And I was in the Northgate Mall, which is like in the north end of Seattle. Right. And I was like getting my phone fixed at like a Verizon kiosk. Right. And I look and I saw this person and I didn't gauge it, but like my body like filled with rage. Like I was like, I'm going to fucking destroy this person. Like without even being conscious of it. Like I was like ready to just beat them to death. And then I was like, holy shit, that's the guy. And then immediately, as I clocked his whole essence, complete empathy, because it was very obvious that he was probably a gay prostitute drug addict. Wow. Like he had meth face and he was like kind of foppish. Yeah. And he was like, just looked crummy. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, you're like so sad. And I just immediately filled with empathy.
That's interesting.
But I still killed him.
Well, yeah.
But that was more for because of the trauma. I now have a sexual sadism where I have to feel like God. Mm-hmm. And God is the only one that can take life.
That's weird because you don't do that in bed. I can verify that you're not nailing that.
Well, you're not a man.
God damn it. That's crazy. So when you spoke to the cops, they didn't press charges. You just...
I think my parents decided to not press charges because this kid lived like 4 blocks from us.
And they're like, let's not... it's fucked up because, like, you would think, why not? You know what I mean? But it's like, oh, we don't want to disturb the peace in the neighborhood. And it's like, I've been in positions where my life was in danger, you know? Where, like, I went on this date once with a guy that wasn't you. So I'm sorry if this hurts your feelings. But your tremor's acting up.
It's fine. I've gotten it in before you. I got plenty of fucking smashing on.
Shut up. I went on this like motorcycle ride out to. I know I've made mistakes, and we went out to like the woods or something. This is somebody I do not know, and like a road boyfriend, you know. And I went out and we were like, he had this like paper sack, and I just thought, oh shit, like I thought this was gonna be like a short ride around the block, but we went out into like the suburbs of Boston, and he pulls over on like the side of a road and was like, we're going in there, and like points to the woods, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like
But you still went?
But I still went because I didn't want to be rude.
Yeah.
You know? So like it's weird the way you react to shit like...
Did you go into the woods and fuck?
No, I went into the woods and he made me s'mores, and it was the worst date I've ever been on in my life. Because truly I wished he had a weapon.
You know,
it would have been more sexually satisfying for me.
It's like every guy who's like a nice guy, they do this like sweet things. Like he's like, I got the perfect date. I'm going to put her on my bike. We're going to go out to the woods. I'm going to make her s'mores.
Yeah.
And it's like every girl's like, could you just choke me till I come and then get the fuck out of my face?
Just leave me in the woods. I'll walk home.
That's what we should do. We should separate the genders. Mm-hmm. City completely. Just we do not exist within each other, right?
Uh-huh.
And then occasionally we go to war. And what that war is that you go and you fight and fuck, and then we separate again.
You think that's the answer? You think that's the move? We just fight one another, fuck, separate, and then the women help each other have babies. Is that the idea?
Yes. I think that's the solution to everything.
Listen, I think this is why you can't trust people who've been molested. They don't know how to problem solve.
Yeah, that's true.
No, people are going to hate me for saying that, but it's fine. All right. Well, I will say, I do want to touch a little bit on the fact that you and I had our own brush up with the cops.
Yeah.
A lot has happened. We've only dated for what, 3 months?
Yeah.
3 months yesterday. We're 2 alcoholics.
Yeah.
Who are now sober.
The only people that move faster than lesbians.
Yes. Truly.
Yeah.
I think we do move faster than lesbians. You moved into my apartment probably like 3 weeks after we started dating.
And by dating, we went on very few dates.
There were no dates.
There was no dates.
There was no dating whatsoever.
If by date you mean we said disgusting things to each other over text, and then we decided to watch Schenectady, New York.
I decided that I was like, I didn't see you in that way at all. I know it hurts your feelings when I say that, but I didn't see you like that. And then one day you texted me, I want to wear you like a gas mask. And I was like, I want this man to live with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, and since then we've just been together.
Yeah. We've been to London.
We've been to London. What else has happened?
We've met all of our parents except
my dad,
estranged father,
who I haven't spoken to.
Yeah.
Still. I was on TV last week. He still hasn't called.
Yeah. He's probably mad at you for being on TV.
He probably is.
Yeah.
And then what else? You moved into my place. We
moved to LA.
We moved to LA. We went to go look at dogs to adopt together, which thank God we didn't because they were all insane.
Yeah.
And we got arrested. We've been arrested.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
What happened was.
Well, I think the pretext is that I am a gypsy, and
by that you mean
offensive.
A cheapskate.
I don't think I'm a cheapskate. It's with the it goes into the whole recycling ethos. I like to use what's available kind of thing. And so, of course, a friend offered me a car. Not a shady friend either, just kind of a dippy friend.
Right. Offered you, well, if it's better to borrow your friend's car than it is to rent your own.
Yeah.
So we borrowed your friend's car. I also live in my
ex-wife's house. It's a lot of different.
Yeah. I mean, I have all kinds of boundary issues around that, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I
borrowed my friend's car. Right when we picked up the car, her dad was like, hey, just so you know, the license plate got stolen. I'm not going to report it stolen because I'm a black man and I'm afraid that, I'll be driving this car around someday and they'll shoot me. Basically,
right.
That's what he said.
Totally checks out.
Understandable.
But we were driving it around, and whoever stole the license plate
had committed some fun crimes.
Some pretty bad crimes.
Some felonies.
We don't know what the felonies were.
I think they were armed robbery.
Armed robbery?
Yeah.
I mean, they did have a Mustang.
Yeah.
So basically, Andy and I got pulled over on the way to go see The Ringers. We were going to watch my set on The Ringers.
She crushed it, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's cohesion because also it's an ATC produced show.
That's true.
Yeah. So this is great.
Thank you for the plug.
Yeah.
But we were on our way to watch that, and we get pulled over, and this cop comes out, and it was the second the cop walks up to the car, I was just like, we're about to get arrested. There were two cops. They came up on both sides. Andy was like, hey, is this about the license plate? Because, it was my friend's car. And
Sir, please get out of the car.
Yeah. And they basically were like, get out of the car. I was handcuffed immediately. I don't know why they handcuffed me first, but...
And I was like, my princess.
And he was like, I've never seen Andy act more white in my life.
Which is hard to do.
Hard
to do because I have taken you upstate to pick apples.
Yeah, and you acted like a waitress had gotten your order wrong as you were being handcuffed. You
were like, we didn't order arrested.
This isn't what we asked. No. And then we get in the back of this car, and I was kind of laughing, just being like, this is kind of hot. And Andy was like, should we sue? Andy kept being like, let's sue.
Jokingly, but...
It was not joking.
I mean, I would love to get some money from LAPD.
Yeah, you were scheming right away.
Yes. You got to get it how you can, If the talent and the handsome is not going to bring the big bucks, then we got to get litigious.
You said you almost asked them if they knew who my grandfather was.
He's a very prominent lawyer. All right. I wanted to put a little fear of God in them.
If I had called my grandfather from the back of a cop car with you, he'd be like, I don't know who you are.
I want you guys to know this. She acts very cool. She's probably one of the crew, but Rosebud was so nice to the cops, you guys. Black Lives Matter. All right. And Rosebud was just like, thank you guys for arresting me. You're doing a great job.
Listen, that's the way white ladies scheme. That's our weapon.
She did ask to speak to their manager.
I didn't. I said I was trying to figure out what happened. I was the one who told them what happened, though. I was in the back of the car being like, oh my God, this is because the plates were stolen.
Yeah. You did the right thing. We probably should have just banged.
Yeah.
It was hot.
It was a huge waste of handcuffs.
Yeah, our hands were behind us. I just couldn't get to my,
You don't have the core strength.
D&B. To my Dave and Buster's. That's what I call my dick and balls.
I mean, that's so upsetting. I am looking. All right. So at the end of every episode, you guys, I don't know why I'm saying this. Like I haven't done this before. It's just because it's the first time we've recorded, but we do a segment called Bad Advice. Because I'm not a qualified person to give advice to others, nor am I very good at taking advice from others. I like to give shitty advice to people. So one of the questions that I have was, I'm looking right now. Sorry. Okay. Tips for, this person wants to know tips for getting over a guy without knowing any of his flaws.
Well, first of all, go to therapy. Jesus Christ. Without knowing any of his flaws?
That's good advice.
What do you mean?
So this person is having trouble getting over a man who, I guess it was the beginning of a relationship. She doesn't know any of his flaws. It was like things were great and then things just stopped.
What kind of fucking rose-colored glasses is she wearing? 0 flaws? I knew all your flaws right away.
She didn't say he doesn't have any. She said she doesn't know them.
I guess other people like date and they only go out and then most people don't see each other completely like we did.
Right.
It's like they spend 3 hours on a Friday and then 2 weeks later they spend another 4 hours together.
Yeah, and they go to like the botanical gardens.
Yeah.
So I guess things were getting kind of hot and heavy. Things were good. And then he just like ghosted or just was like, I'm done with this. And she wants to know the tips for getting over a guy without knowing any of his flaws.
You're great at this because you're good at just saying like the exact like healthy clinical answer to this, which is.
I mean, I think the only option is to go into his house and to find out his flaws.
Yeah, that's
I think that's probably the thing to do.
I'd say
find out where he lives,
yeah.
Which is that's just a simple Google search if you're willing to put in the time.
Yeah, I mean, if you know the right Ukrainian, like it's fine.
Yeah.
But I would say what you really want to do is to get over him, call the cops and say that he hit you. And then let it like run its course.
Let me tell you something.
But when they've got him in custody and they're like, do you want to come down? Say, you know what? I actually forgot to take my SSRIs today. I've been having a manic episode.
Yeah, I think actually you should go down and watch him interact with the cops because
then you're really going to learn something.
You're going to learn about his flaws, and if that's the problem to getting over him, I guess this person needs to know their flaws to get over somebody.
Yeah.
So I think you got to do a little bit of digging.
Also,
and you got to get into his house or put him in a situation where you're going to see some flaws come out.
If you want like an immediate fix, if I were you, go to a suburban hotel, right? Mm-hmm. Go to a suburban hotel.
Right.
You're going to need, if you're not sober, I don't want you to relapse, but if you're not sober, you're going to want to bring a handle of whatever your favorite kind of liquor is. Bring some beer too for the softening in the morning. But you're going to want to bring a gram of cocaine.
Cocaine.
And some kind of benzo. So Xannies.
Yeah.
Klonopin.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is, just a good benzo, and you're going to want to get nice and, slippery, like get
soft,
get drunk, put a little of that Coke in you. So you're at a suburban motel, right?
Right.
And then you're going to walk across the parking lot. It's probably going to be a Chili's or a Maggiano's
or an Applebee's
Macaroni Grill. And you're going to find the hottest legal young guy. And you're going to say, hey, I have a room across the way. Do you want to party?
Yeah.
And then, just use all your supplies, bang until the sun comes up, drink some of that beer in the morning because you're going to feel like shit.
Absolutely. Probably do a bump of Coke just to wake yourself up.
Save a bump of Coke. It's hard to do, but in the moment you'll feel like a genius.
Yeah, you will.
And then
it's like not finishing your ice cream if you're sober.
When it all wears off, you will feel such self-hate and just
You'll
regret.
be like, I'm not worthy of love.
You won't even think about this guy. You'll be thinking about just like a God-level defect.
Yes. You'll be like, I need to seek out a higher power.
Yeah.
So you're telling someone I think, you know what? As far as bad advice goes, I think you just nailed it.
That's just a weekend.
Yeah.
That's a Friday night.
It's
by Sunday afternoon, you found religion.
Flash in the pan, quick road to meeting God.
But make sure that server or whoever you bang out at that Applebee's is hot. Don't waste your time.
And of age.
Yeah.
Because we don't want another Andy out in the world.
God, it's such a handsome man with such like self-esteem issues. It's like a glitch in the system.
I'm so glad I found you. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Devil's Advocate with Rosebud Baker. Andy, do you have anything to plug? I don't know exactly when this is coming out. I know it'll be coming out in March.
It's going to be saved for an emergency. It's going to be a real, we don't have any episodes.
I can tell you.
Put Andy's episode. I guess we'll put a disclaimer that the computer broke.
Just be like, sorry for this.
Yeah.
That's going to be the title of the episode. Sorry for this.
Come to see me at the San Francisco Punchline April 15th through 18th if this comes out in time. I'll be headlining at my favorite club, possibly recording something, but just come out. I don't know who else will be on the show yet, but it's one of the best clubs in the country. It got saved by Dave Chappelle and some other people because it's like a historic landmark. And then there's some other dates coming up that you can check my calendar for. I'm Andy Haynes across everything.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, shit. Well, whatever.